Hey everyone, welcome back. Prime Gaming free games. They came out with 7 games this time, so it's a busy month for a lot of games to try out. And there's various types of games, so we'll check them out now. First game we got up is Tales of the Neon Sea. Came out in 2019 with a Metacritic score of 62. You're looking at $17 on Steam if you didn't get it for free. And you're looking at about 9 hours of gameplay. And I would call this a 2D puzzle game. You kind of walk around, but you're not doing a whole lot of like platforming too much. I'll get into that. But it's more solving puzzles because you're an ex-detective in this cyberpunk world. And you kind of had this weird experience at the beginning of the game where it looked like time rewind. And then you start walking around to help fix your robot, and you end up finding a murder, and you kind of get back to detective mode through the game. And this game crosses gameplay with William, which is a cat that you can talk to because you're half cyborg. You understand this cat, and it seems like you understand some of the other cats, which they're shocked about, but you get to play William the cat and learn about the whole cat gangs. It was really weird. It got in-depth there. Graphics overall, I enjoyed them a lot. I thought it looked really smooth for a 2D game. The puzzles were a little hard on the sense that you kind of didn't know what you were doing. So you would get to like this one here where you're spinning the pipes around, but you realize the center points kind of change so you can move stuff, and it wasn't too clear at that at first. So I wouldn't say they were like overly difficulty. They were harder than some of the other puzzle games I played. But I feel like some of it was because it was hard to figure out. The whole environment, the sounds of the game, I enjoyed a lot. The biggest problem I had, there's bugs still in this game, and reading the Steam forums, I even found that. So here I was playing and ended up frozen on this platform. I couldn't get down, no indicators showed up, and I was stuck. And finally found a forum on Steam that said I had to restart the whole chapter, and honestly, that's when I stopped playing. And it made the review a little hard because I really enjoyed the game, so I kind of have a maybe download. Maybe if they start working on some of these bugs, but this one seemed to exist for a little while. So that's what was the real downplay here. I don't want to like give it a bad score of that, and that's why I did see some Metacritic reviews were low with the bugs. If they were fixed, I definitely would say download this, but there is some encounters that did have workarounds, but it is kind of annoying. So the cool pro here is it's a cool start and very well done visuals. The con would be the whole cyberpunk thing. It's starting to appear a lot more, so I could see people getting tired of this. Next up, The Wanderers Frankenstein's Creatures came out in 2019 and is based on the old novel Frankenstein back in 1818. So got a little history here for y'all. Metacritic score is 69, $16. And 2 hours if you do one playthrough. And this is a narrative adventure game. And as I mentioned, it's based off the actual novel that everyone kind of remembers. But I like this one because this wasn't like all the other Frankenstein games. What you're seeing now is Frankenstein. Does not look like any Frankenstein I've ever seen pictured before. But it does follow the novel pretty decent till the end. It kind of diverges a little. But it did stick to the novel pretty well with the stories. And you're the creature trying to fit in, don't understand why people hate them. And this is more of like a walking sim, clicking around. You do like these, I would call them mini games, but like you chop wood, try to catch a rabbit. That was like the most mini games there was to me. This game also froze on me, which was weird. I couldn't do anything. I guess I took too long doing this one part, and it just got in a weird state, and I had to restart the chapter again. So that was 2 for 2, but that was the last game I had issues with on this month, so that's a good news. And when I said it mostly sticks to the novel, there's multiple endings, and depends how you react, because a lot of times I would just roar or flee on my playthrough, so I got a different ending than if I would kind of retaliate with some of the options. So you can get multiple playthroughs, and if you were like this novel, it would be interesting. But for me, as a game, I would say not a download. We know how I kind of feel about the walking sims. But the pro here is if you do really enjoy this novel, I like the take this took on it because it was completely different. I never had a Frankenstein game like this, and it was crazy. And the not con here is just like it had some draw. Like it was interesting once you knew it was the novel and all, and you're like, oh wow, this is different. But then after a while, it just kind of stopped being good to me. It just got boring, I should say, not good. Next up, Telltale Season 2 of Batman with the Enemy Within. So last month we got Season 1, now we got Season 2, which came out in 2017. Got a Metacritic score of 79, $15 if you bought this on Steam normally, and you're looking at 10 hours. Movie gameplay, Telltale, we already know what I thought of Telltale games. And this one actually had some cool features added from the last season, so you could start off with the choices you make, or just start off with the first episode with default choices. I guess they're randomized, so if you didn't play the first one, on mine, you saw Bruce Wayne here had a missing ear, so you may not know what happened. So that's just one of the options that happened in Season 1. But it's kind of minor. I don't think anything was like overly changed. So you could jump in this new if you did miss last month. You'll just get some of this like, why did this happen?
Well, it's a good thing you're here.
They also introduced a party mode. So you're going to have people kind of watch your stream or locally play with their phone to help make choices to get more interaction. So you kind of have this little couch play going on. I enjoyed the story with the Riddler introduction. Not a fan how Telltale did portray the looks of some of the characters. The Riddler, Joker, they were fine voicing their character-wise, but for some reason didn't like the look of them. And I'll iterate again, these are violent games, and they start out rough. Like, so if it's Batman and you think a kid, Telltale does kind of get a darker side. They did start with The Walking Dead. The fight scenes, I just enjoy a lot. I think they're well done for the movie games. I did try keyboard this time, as you can tell with some of the keys that were popping up. I would say play with a controller better. I kind of like having the color show up instead of trying to read the letter. It just takes, like, I feel like few like microseconds to realize what's happening versus just seeing a color red or green and knowing what to hit. You got the Shadows edition again. Don't like that. So again, download, no shock from me. I do enjoy these games, and it's Telltale. I am feeling the burnout again, though. That was, I think, the problem back when Telltale games were putting out games, I feel like, all the time. You do need your break, so I would recommend just downloading this and maybe play a little later. Because that goes into the con. If you played last month and this month, you might be jumping in. It might be just a little tiresome. And again, if you hate these movie games, you're just not going to like it. So there's that. Next up is a game from August 2019, download or not, that I had. So we've seen this game before, called Automachef. It did come out in 2019 as well. And it's $73. It's a puzzle game, and it's $15. I won't spend too much time, but I do have a link to the old video if you do want to watch it. And it's identified as a resource management game. Basically, you're trying to automate the kitchen to make food faster and enjoy that. The graphics are cool. I like the challenges. You want to try to get things efficient, and there's also like stars, so you can get it more efficient if you're really into that. And you get judged by the amount of items used, electricity used, so it's a lot of things you can make efficient. So that's always cool. I always like the coordinator because you kind of get this little like writing code that does the block style coding to learn how to develop stuff. So that always was interesting to me. So download, fun, challenging game that you're just working on automation. And I was never bored, and this game was fun. The con would be, it is more, I guess, that sim style game, and if you don't like them, this is not going to be where you want to look at this game. Next up is a big game for older gamers out there, The Secret of Monkey Island, the special edition. I had to make sure I had the right edition right there. It's got an 86 on Metacritic, so, I mean, if you're unfamiliar with PC games, this is one of the games you always hear from back in the day for the point-and-click genre. The special edition came out in 2018. It's $10. You're looking around 6-7 hours. and it's a point and click game. So they updated the graphics. It's all hand drawn, has voice acting, and they added a hint system. This was very, very big. So you play as Guybrush, and you want to become a pirate. So you have to do these 3 trials to become a pirate. Interesting story. I do enjoy it a lot. There's comedy in here that's actually still holds up pretty well. The issue is it's the old mechanics of point and click games where you do a lot of backtracking, running around lost to figure out, oh, you were supposed to do this one thing. To give a hint, like at the early beginning, it was like I had to grab some stuff, and then I was exploring town, was lost, which I had to go backwards again to go to the huge map to go to another point that, like, if you didn't know where to go, you would just be running around lost. So it has that old mentality, and that's where I said the hint system's big. That came in to help with this problem. I tried to avoid using it while playing. Generally, I don't like using the hint systems, but this may be one of those games. You can switch between the old or new graphics, which I always find as a cool thing, especially for people with nostalgia. But sadly, I would say not download this game for me personally, because I didn't play the original. I played Toonstruck. So that was the con here. It was just this game doesn't hold special to me as it did probably for a lot of the older people that did play the point and click games. And that's the pro here. If you love the original, not much has changed. They fixed some bugs. I think they took out one joke I was reading. So if you love the game, just get this. It was well done. It will be your experience. You'll have a lot of fun. Next up, we have Rad, which came out in 2019. A lot of 2019s this time. We got a Metacritic score of 71, $20, and about 8 hours of gameplay, give or take. And this is an action road game. It's a top-down view with this cool shell shading style that I like a lot. And this is one of them games that you are going to die a lot. You are designed to die and get these upgrades, and then you start off with better stuff and progress the game that way. Each time you go back, the beginning stage is always different, so it's always like generated, so you'll never get too bored of the levels doing a lot of the replay. And basically the premise here is going to the poison lands and cleaning things up. Simple controls, you just have A to jump, X to hit, LB to roll, and then you get some other hits like B's to use the item, and then you can shoot something sometimes. So it's not too in-depth there, and it's going to feel repetitive. You're going to just be hitting X, doing a dodge, hitting X, and figuring out how each boss works or bad guy. The mutations is cool. You fill up this bar and you get a mutation. The two I have in this clip here is you got some mind control one that would control a bad guy and would fight for you. And then I got one where I laid eggs and had spiders of my own character, and I could only have 2 at a time, which was really good. I enjoyed that one. Again, the bosses on these things are always cool. I always enjoy these hard bosses that you have to figure out, and I always feel like I die the first time I see them because I'm like, I have no clue what's happening. And that's how these games are built. So I do like it. I would say overall, a download. You'll see a lot of Namco stuff in here because they helped publish the game. But it's a fun game as the pro, and I thought it was pretty well simple where I could play and stop and keep coming back to. I don't feel like I lose anything. So this will be one of them ones that people want to play for like 20 minutes and then put down and maybe play a couple days later. This game fits that. The con here is going to be that frustration of difficulty starting over and over and over because you're designed to die in this game. Last up, we have Portal Dogs, which came out in 2020. I could not find a Metacritic score for this. It's $4. It's also available on the Switch, and you're looking at about 4 hours of gameplay. And this is just a simple platformer game. You're a dog that can wake up these other dogs, and you have to get to the portal or get the other companion dogs to their different portals. So you have this crown. You have your own special portal. There's 3 goals in each of the levels. Get to the main portal is one, so you usually fill that no matter what. Find the bone on the level, and then get all the dogs to their other portals. The dogs follow you and mimic your controls. The graphics are very simple, phone-like. And it actually got frustrating because like when you watch me hit these spikes here, it was like I died the first time. I didn't even kind of really pick up what it was. I was like, oh, there's spikes, and just It's very simple in there. The movement, I did not find that smooth. I found little areas where like I would try to move to get to an edge, but I guess you only move a certain spots versus like a little bit, so I kept falling off, so I assumed I couldn't get on that ledge. It's also on the Switch, and it reminds me a lot of the cheaper Switch games that you usually play. That's always on sale, and I think everyone probably bought one before. So overall, I'll say this is not a download. It's just a simple platformer. That's the pro and con. If you just want something kind of simple, it was like 8 worlds with like about 10 levels in each one. And that was something I forgot to mention, is each of the worlds you do get a different shape or a different power to change it up. But it's a simple platformer, nothing special. So I said not a download. So I know I'm gonna get criticized for the Secret of Monkey Island. I do realize that's a cult game, very important, just not my nostalgia, I'm sorry. So I do hope at least people that love that game can actually get to play it special edition. If they haven't, I think they will enjoy it. But we had pretty decent games. We had a lot of them come out. So then they were various details, so you're probably going to have a wide range. So I'm curious what everybody else thought of this month's games. And I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next month. Peace.